What's new, everybody? What's going on? You are listening to the Playing On Podcast. My name is Carl Markowski, and thank you for joining me. This episode is brought to you by Charm City Paintball, the head game master. Mike over at Charm City, he makes all of my headgear for me, as well as my pack bands that I'm wearing I'm wearing an awesome American flag headband that is amazing. I think it's so cool, the time and effort and the quality of work that goes into these things is amazing. Make sure you check him out, Charm City Paintball on Instagram, along with his Facebook page. And he's always posting up new materials, new designs, new just all kinds of great stuff. And what's great is that all of his runs are about like 10 headbands or less. So it's a very limited run. They're all very, I wouldn't say very rare, but everything is limited run. So make sure you check him out, Charm City Paintball. He has like I said, headbands, pack bands, along with head wraps. So give him a shout. Tell him Carl sent you. This podcast is also brought to you by ckfightlife.com. They are a paintball company, formerly known as Hybrid. All you paintball players out there probably know who I'm talking about. But you know, these guys, they have packs, they have jerseys, they have a big thing going around right now is they do custom laser engraving, which is amazing work. If you've seen the Instagram or the Facebook or anything like that, or even seen any of the pro markers that are out there, I think yeah from Houston Heat, he always has his stuff done. The same with Sam Monville, but they have, I don't know, I could be lying, but I'm pretty sure that Contract Killer does their laser engraving. Regardless, CK Fight Life, they do some amazing laser engraved work. The graphics and everything are awesome. They have, like I said, all kinds of paintball gear, but along with that, they also do jiu-jitsu gear, gis, belts, rash guards, shorts, all kinds of stuff. And I'm wearing a black gi of theirs right now. It's amazing. I've gotten many compliments on it, which is very, very cool. And I'm hoping to grow their popularity on that sense. So if you want to get a hold of them, especially with the laser engraving or anything like that, they are taking orders. You can go ahead and give Tony a call at 951-219-5045, or you can hit him up on the email on the ckfightlife.com website, and just tell him Carl sent you. So thank you to Contract Killer. And last but not least, we are brought to you by Planet Eclipse, the most amazing markers on the planet, pun intended. And I shoot the LV series, which you guys have probably heard me beat to death, but it's the truth, man. The LV platform, I feel, is the best platform out there. The softest shot, the better looking of the ones they have out. But Planet has the CS2 out there right now. It's amazing how they have transformed it from the CS1 with the grip and the bolt system and even something simple as the way the batteries eject out of the foregrip. I think it's very cool. The company has been nothing but amazing to me and every team that I've played for since I've started my professional career. So big hats off to Planet Eclipse. Thank you guys so much for supporting me and supporting myself and this podcast. Thank you to all of our sponsors. And that's the ads, ladies and gentlemen. And now we are into the podcast with Mike Zap. Him and I just looked, and him and I haven't talked since I think like episode 6 or something like that. But I love talking to this guy. I love sitting down and bullshitting with him. He has a great paintball memory. As far as we were talking about a trivia thing, and I thought it'd be pretty cool, but he would win because I have a terrible memory. But enough of my chatter. Here is the podcast with Mike Zap. Like shrapnel on the bottom of this wine.
Oh, that's the rise, right?
Maybe. So
Is it an organic wine?
I mean, it's organically tasty. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I bought it at a local place, so maybe it is.
It could be.
I like a lot of stuff, but I don't know the names of a lot of stuff. So I'm always going, yeah, I like, it's good. I like it. Like, oh, what is it? I have no idea. I know what it looks like. I can see the picture. I'm so visual. I'm so much more visual than memory, or in my memory than anything. Like recalling names or like faces, boom, boom, boom. I can instantly go, yeah, I know that guy. That guy looks familiar. I know him. Or, if somebody was like paintball, right? So with paintball, I don't have to see a jersey. I don't have to do anything. Somebody could be wearing a completely different jersey, but just by the way that they play, you can pick out who it is just by their how they hold themselves. And
like Damian Ryan is Damian Ryan.
Oh yeah, well yeah, it helps that he's super tall and lanky and
just like goof.
Yeah, he gets like this big when he like kneels down and
like no one in the league looks like Sergey,
Yeah. I mean. Yeah.
No. What up with Sacramento DMG? They all like look alike.
I saw that.
Like I watched a finals game. Like there's 3 or 4 guys with long black hair. It's almost like they're wearing wigs, but they're not.
Two guys are not wearing wigs, but there were another 2 that were wearing wigs.
Oh, are you recording or no?
Oh yeah, you sent me that link. Yeah. So you can cuss now.
Sweet.
So how you been, man?
Good, dude. Just hanging out in New Jersey. It's finally thawing out.
I know it's thawing out, but it's melting from the sky. So now it's just raining. It's been raining all day here.
Yeah, it was like drizzling all day yesterday and today and whatever. It's just like the way it is. But we had a good on Sunday. It was beautiful weather out. It was like 50s. I mean, you can start going and play outside again,
I know, and this whole time while everybody else has just been playing outside forever, pretty much year-round, we're sitting here talking about playing paintball.
Yeah, the one problem is that, I mean, there's a reball facility like 45 minutes from my house, but there's no indoors anywhere here anymore.
Doesn't reball fucking shit up?
Well, no, it doesn't. So with a Lux, you have to take the feather touch out, like the feather touch screw out, because it won't shoot properly. Mm-hmm. And then other than that, it works fine. You'll have to turn it down at 220 and you're playing in close quarters, but yeah, it's good enough to get the itch out. Max always talked like so highly of it, like basically saying the reason why Joy Division was good was because they would just train reball all the time.
I didn't know if it like fucked up the inside of your barrel or whatnot.
Well, remember, you always have to lube your barrel.
Lube your barrel, always. Lube your balls. I don't know.
Always
the reballs needed to be lubed, right? Were they oily?
You're supposed to take that oil you get with your LVR and just every time you open up a bag of paint, you have to just dip a little bit of that in there and just mush it around, and then you get perfect paintballs. Perfect
coating of paintball juiciness.
Cheers. What are you drinking? Some black tea?
This is tea mixed with the little lady Bly.
The rum?
Little lady juice, yeah.
I got that nice Troganator, or the Perpetual IPA from Trogs, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, right about 3 hours away from me on the way to Pittsburgh for the ICC.
The Iron Classic.
Iron City Classic. So I got a Vegas. Russ Jackson from DLX came up to me during the pro finals. I was in the pits watching. I just finished watching Aftermath beat the shit out of Mutiny.
Yeah.
Which was unfortunate because that's a really good thing for me. I think that was Mutiny's first ever finals, because when they were an old 7-man team, they were just kind of the whipping boys. You know what I mean? Not whipping boys, but that was when the A1, they were using the A1s, the Angels.
Yeah.
They were wearing those white Mutiny jerseys. And that was, I think, 2009 was their first year. 2008, maybe?
Something like that, because they came around a little bit before I took a little hiatus. But I didn't even know Mutiny was in finals. I didn't even really stick around for finals. I was so upset.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of, Sunday was a weird day for me at Vegas because we played 10-man. I was in the Houston Heat pits in the morning and got mollywopped by X Factor. Like, it's crazy, like how the tables turned. Like Impact just mollywopped X Factor in the morning of X Factor, beat the shit out of Heat. And like I didn't even play that. The first time playing that layout was at practice the next week.
Yeah.
I didn't practice at all. All right, this is the first time thing I've ever done. Is the last time I played paintball before Vegas was the Atlanta 10-man tournament in December.
Ooh.
So I did not pick up my paintball gun other than to put it in my gear bag to fly to Vegas. I didn't play at all, and it was exciting. Like I was really excited to go in and playing on Sunday at 10-man, but then I noticed how rusty I was.
But dude, honestly, I feel like you need that break, man. I feel like obviously the top of the top are obsessed and they just constantly play and this and that. But I feel like for a sane person, like you need just a little bit of that. Okay, like let me enjoy some other things, and then I'll get back to the grind. You know, but some people are obviously going to disagree. Like, you gotta grind all the time. You just gotta do this. I'm like, but sometimes if you want to be so obsessed with it, I feel like sometimes you tend to lose yourself in the sport, and you start doing it. I feel like for the wrong reasons. Like you start, I don't know. To me, like I feel like some people who got really deep into it sometimes like lose teammates or lose friends, and it becomes more or less not about having fun, but more about just like being the straight edge sword and just wanting to be nothing but the best and fuck everybody. And
there's nothing wrong with that, right?
No,
at all. Like, but what we said before, like when you first came on my show back at World Cup 2016.
Wow.
Like, yeah, right. It's crazy. Time flies. But like we play this exaggerated hobby, right? And you're probably not, even if you're a pro, you're probably not getting paid to do this thing. So you might as well have fun doing it, you know? And the moment it doesn't, it stops having fun or being fun is like kind of the moment, you maybe need to take that break,
Yeah.
And last year, paintball wise, like there's a lot of successes for me, and it was really daunting and tasking. And
yeah,
World Cup this past year was like the worst World Cup I've been to in terms of like my fun factor. Like I just didn't have fun at all at World Cup. So like it was good to take that break. I was, I was glad to do it, and I'm really excited for this season coming up. 2018 is going to be a gnarly year,
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. I mean, I don't like, not that I don't like the way that we started out. I feel like we started out halfway decent, because I feel like if we would have won those 2 games that we lost by 1 point, I mean, we would have been 3-1 again and made finals or made Sunday, like that, and would have started this whole thing off on the right start. But having a few new guys, and it's but it was good. I mean, and I talked to Demetrius about this. A lot of good things happened because we didn't make Sunday, as far as team chemistry and the connections and kind of the direction of where we want to go. We were able to sit down with each other a little bit longer and talk about, okay, hey, what is it that we want to do? Like, what position is everybody in? What direction do we want to take this thing? How committed are we? And having Pax and Meter, I feel like really kind of threw everything together, especially now that we have a tournament under our belt. And
well, you're adding, you lose Nick, right?
Yeah.
So he has a shit ton of experience under his belt, a really fantastic paintball player, a great personality.
A little smelly.
He's a little stinky and looks kind of like a dirt cricket, but he's not.
He's a dirt cricket.
No, that's Harrison Fry and Joe Barrett.
Harrison, cut your mustache off, dude.
They are the current consummate dirt crickets of the pro division, for sure.
Congratulations to Harrison, by the way, for getting on Thunder.
Yeah, dude, he's a great player. He played 10-man with me last year, a bunch of tournaments, and he's a really fun guy. He's a little all over the place. He's hard to like nail down into one spot. But maybe this like being on a pro team now and being with Map Chim and Corey Field are living legends, right? You can go back and watch Map Chim play in that ESPN or the Smart Parts X-Ball tournament, from Mohegan Sun.
Yeah. He
was playing with Dynasty, I think, then, right?
Oh,
but,
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
so,
right.
You can always tell, like, it's weird how my memory works. It's very visual, like you just said.
Yeah.
And he wears that orange headband thing, and he's been
That
wearing
plaid,
it
yeah.
since excessive days, right? So
Yep.
he's been wearing that shit forever. And every time, like, I just was thinking about a Dynasty jersey and that thing. And Quim Cardona was on that team. That was, I think, LJ Schwartz's first tournament with Dynasty. I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure.
I think so.
Yeah.
Well,
It was
well, yeah. I mean, yeah, because the Mohegan Sun was a while ago.
2006. I think you're right. Because it was a year after the Miami Commanders Cup, which ended up on ESPN.
You know what we should do is we should get a bunch of paintball players together and have like a paintball trivia game show.
Like trivia night?
Yeah.
Yeah, trivia night. And you have like the picture category one. And then you could even do like a sound one. Like, where was this? Oh, what was this song from? And then if you throw Rise Against in there, you could name any paintball movie.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, between the years of 2005 and 2007, pretty much every movie had Rise Against in it.
Or then you throw in dubstep and you're like, ooh, I don't know.
Is that an HK movie?
Because that's got to be an HK highlight video.
Yeah. But so back to Harrison, like he's playing, Corey Field, if you remember, was arguably the best Naughty Dog back in the day. I mean,
yeah.
When they were good at X-Ball, when those open division tournaments were back in 2004, 2005, playing open with Avalanche, Excessive, Dynasty, Ultimate, Naughty Dogs was fucking good.
Yeah. Well, and if you think about it, like, I think about that team, and, Rocky was the guy I didn't want to get in
He was at Vegas. Did you see him playing?
I wish I would have saw him. I didn't see him.
I saw him from afar. I only met him like my first tournament ever. So like, I don't have any, I'm not going to walk up to him. You know what I mean?
Well, he loves it when you walk up to him and just sock him in the shoulder and go, hey, man.
Next time I'll do that. But yeah. I was at the paint trucks and I saw him. I'm like, holy shit, the homeboy's back.
Yeah.
I think he was playing E2. I'm pretty sure.
That's awesome though. Because I remember like
he
was the guy I didn't want to get mad. Like I didn't want him to get mad at me. Because Rocky's kind of intimidating. Corey was the dude I didn't want to get into a one-on-one with because he was just nasty. He had a nasty shot. Map Chim just was an anchor. Wherever he was alive.
And Colt Roberts, that was his first
Colt Roberts
pro team.
Was nasty.
Wearing the white events.
Yeah, that's right. See? Paintball trivia. And then I forget because there was a quick dude who used to play for Naughty Dogs. His name was like Travis, or he was a smaller, quick white dude. He played the snake for him.
Was it Mikey Lou on the Naughty Dogs too?
Mikey Lou was on the Naughty Dogs. Tyler McCluskey.
There you go, dude.
Yeah.
Didn't he end up playing on Blast, McCluskey?
I don't know.
I think he might have played on Blast or Legacy, potentially. Because if you remember, Legacy merged with Blast, with Oakland Blast, or Assassins, whatever the two. I think it was Assassins merged. They merged together.
Yeah.
And they had a lot of guys from Northern California, like Zach Long and those dudes, and then the dudes from like the Northwest would come down, and then they had all the dudes from SoCal. The shows, Gary Shows, and his
Gary
son.
Shows.
Yeah, and then the dude who he used to own Contract Killer, I think.
Chris.
Yes.
Yeah. Who? Shout out to Chris, making gis and rash guards and all this shit for jiu-jitsu.
So you're into jiu-jitsu now. Tell me how that's going.
Dude, I wish, because I feel like I would have been so much more of a complete paintball player. I wish I would have discovered jiu-jitsu back in the day. People are probably like, motherfuckers talking about jiu-jitsu again. I'm telling you, man, it's a life changer. And if you research like some of the celebrities or some of the personalities that actually do jiu-jitsu and what it does for them, it's an amazing experience because of just the it sounds stupid, but it's like the oneness with yourself that you just become aware a lot more of the do's and the don'ts and the cans and the cannots yet kind of a thing with yourself and your mind. And it's addicting, dude. I feel this, how I feel about jiu-jitsu now is how I felt about when I first started playing paintball competitively.
Yeah. And you're like really excited to go train, and you're really excited to go and roll, and yeah, I completely get you.
Yeah, a sponge, man. I'm just trying to soak it all in.
If you know Anthony Bourdain,
yes,
world-renowned chef, parts unknown, is an amazing show. Basically, he claims that jiu-jitsu saved his life. He was a heroin addict, alcoholic, and just this amazing chef, amazing personality.
Tons of demons.
And then tons of demons though. But he kicked the H. I don't think he kicked the booze because he still drinks on his show.
Yeah.
But he does jiu-jitsu, and he started when he was in his 50s.
Yeah.
So Joey Diaz, one of the funniest dudes on the planet. Seriously,
yeah,
he's one of the funniest dudes on the planet.
he tells you how it is, man.
Yeah, and he kicked cocaine 10 years ago. Recently, this November was his 10-year. He was a big snorter, and jiu-jitsu saved his life. You know what I mean? And to bring it back to paintball. Paintball is a weird sport because it's like an extreme sport, a team sport, and then a martial art, and
right,
almost more so than any other sport out there. Really, you talk about your main sports, and the reason I say that is because you're competing against another person, but you're also competing against yourself, and it's not high risk, but high level problem solving,
right,
against maybe one opponent. You get down to one-on-one, it's a freaking MMA fight. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And how many times does a one-on-one occur on the pro field, just the pro field alone?
Yeah.
Good amount. Even a two-on-one, two-on-one. If you're by yourself and you're fighting 2 guys, 3 guys, it goes to a martial art real quick, and you have to utilize your body maneuvering, but you also have to utilize the skills that you learned to get the opponent out.
Survival kicks in, I feel, too. This survival instinct kind of kicks in, and I feel like more than anything at that point, especially 2-on-1, kind of this predictability gland goes off in your head, and you're you're now starting to shoot these gaps where I feel like subconsciously, this is just how I picture it, where subconsciously you're shooting these spots where if I was that guy, I would go to that next bunker, or I would try and make that next move, and you fucking throw paint over there just randomly, and then you see him run through it, and you go, all right, well, fucking that worked, and you move on to the next thing. But yeah, I mean, I relate. I just got done doing a podcast. I gotta load it up tonight. But one of the black belts, I just did a podcast with him. Dude, kid's 24 years old. He's from Brazil, and he's been doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for 8 years. Just turned black belt, I think he said at the beginning of this year, and he's at the top level. He is he's competing against the top guys. He's one of the best competitors as far as black belts go in his weight division right now. And he teaches at the gym that I'm at, and I wanted to get his story, and it was amazing to hear something like that. And jiu-jitsu is so relatable to paintball because it's such a mental and physical battle. Every time you step either on the mat or step on the field, all these things are happening because there's so many variables with jiu-jitsu or paintball. So many different things can happen, and it really all depends on what choices you make. And I guess you can kind of relate that to anything in life, but it really comes down to confidence in what you know, confidence in what you do, being able to see those small windows. And it's just like what Gutenberg said, the black belt, and like any of the high-level paintball players would say, is the higher level you go, the less mistakes that are being made. And that's the biggest difference, he said, between brown belts and black belts, and that's the biggest gap between semi-pro and pro.
Yeah, for sure. And you talk about earlier in the discussion, we talked about how people training, and that's kind of where that experience level, whether it be from literally trying to play paintball every day and just going out of your backyard and snap, or just going to your mirror, or watching tape, watching Go Sports, And that's where that comes into play, just getting that experience. But like, like I've never played pro, like at all. And this is like my first season going into a division higher than Division 2. Mm-hmm. But like in terms of my experience, I've been playing tournaments for 14 years. So like, it's kind of like riding a bike for me. And I feel like my spidey sense, paintball spidey sense, gets better and better every time I play. And that's like kind of the biggest thing in terms of, I think, one, being a good paintball player, one of the biggest things, that and communication, on the field and off the field too. Off the field communication is really important. That's like where they talk about like, being friends with your teammates and blah, blah, blah. You don't necessarily need to be friends, but you need to trust the shit out of them. Right. Yeah. So like, yeah, we talk about like X factors, not the team, but, jiu-jitsu has the mat and it's indoors. Right. Yeah. But how many X factors do you have in paintball? Like, just the paint alone, man, like just that thing right there, that beast. And like, it's so important at that high level, whether it be pro or semi-pro, to like have good paint. Like, it's probably why one of the reasons why X Factor and Impact were in the finals,
because they got all the best paint.
Dude, I mean, Alex, what? And there's nothing to say that like, anyone that has access to that GI truck doesn't have access to that good paint. If you can shake a hand,
I'm not calling anybody out.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. That
HK paint at Vegas was really good. It was a really good ball. It was super. The bouncier ball was a little bit more accurate, but the brittle ball was super brittle. Especially that cold morning. Vegas had like Friday morning was pretty nippy out. Yeah, and it just, you're like drop it and it was just perfect. Mm-hmm. But we shot this GI paint at Paris last year, dude. It was ball and ball accurate and just. It would break on anything. Like you'd clip someone like on the bagginess of their jersey, you know what I mean? Off the break. And that was one of the reasons better paint,
Yeah. So do you think that, and I'm just, kind of not trying to predict where the sport is going or anything like that, but do you think when we have companies that are coming in and we have more companies providing paint, that is essentially when the common paintball player can go, okay, the sport is growing.
Can you repeat that question?
Okay. When we have more than a handful of paint manufacturers, would you say that people would start thinking that the sport is growing?
No, not at all. I mean, I feel like there's no public numbers out there, and like the actual NXL tournaments are growing every year in terms of team attendance. Right. But the one statistic I'd really like to see is unique players at each event, right? So you have the 3-man divisions. Last year, the 2-man divisions. You have the 10-man divisions. I generally don't count that in the team count. Mm-hmm. So, last year Atlantic City was one of the biggest third events we've had since like the old Chicago's, like at Bolingbrook. Right. And Chicago this past year, was the biggest fourth event ever, like since forever, ever, right, on APPA, including PSP, obviously. You have to count PSP. I mean, probably even more so than Huntington Beach when it would sell out in the first day.
Yeah.
Just team count wise, like how many 7-man teams were there? You had the 20 pro teams back then. Including, no, you didn't have 20 pro teams. You had like 12 or 16, whatever it was.
I think it was like 16.
But anyway, so
you're grilling me with all these hard questions.
Yeah, those are really tough ones. I don't feel like the sport's growing. Like I see the same faces every event, year after year. Yeah. I don't know, man. Like it's a really hard thing to say because if we just talk about tournament paintball wise, is it growing? Like I haven't seen any data to prove so. And like maybe someone should, with all the data, should statistics for us to look at, like how many unique players are new to APPA every year.
Yeah.
That's a statistic that can be provided, to the public.
Is the APPA its own entity, or is it owned by the NXL?
It's its own entity from what I understand right now. It's its own entity, and it'll continue to operate as such. What I do know is that PB Results over in Europe and the APPA essentially merged their forces with the birth of the NXL Europe. It's kind of a necessity. So the PB Results was their main source of income was Millennium, right?
Yeah.
Millennium is no more. So why fly out everyone from APPA and that whole booth and all that shit over to Europe every event when you can have all that infrastructure over there anyway? So they essentially combined Results, which is a good thing because the PB Results system was a lot nicer, visual based. But if you see the background, the backbone of that new website is still APPA. It's rather frustrating. The one thing the APPA has that no one else in paintball has is all of that data, right? Data from 2003 or 2002. And you can't take that away from them. They own that data. And that's really important shit. Like, that's more so than the stats right now, right? That is the biggest compilation of data for paintball that we have. But yeah, they're their own entity. Chris Rail's the owner. I don't think Joe Rieger is officially with them anymore, but Rebecca's a great girl. Amanda's a great girl, and they do really good. If you remember, the registration at Vegas was awesome. They used the iPad Pro. Yeah. And with the pen, and you signed your name, you signed the waiver, and you automatically were registered.
You signed a waiver?
Team. Yeah, you signed the little thingy.
I didn't sign a waiver.
What, you didn't sign your waiver?
I didn't sign a waiver. I just walked on the field, dude.
Living on the edge, bro.
If I get hurt, who cares? Yeah, well, I don't know any of the girls that are up at the booth, but they all do a great job because they, they signed me in pretty quick. So
yeah, the biggest complaint everyone has right now in paintball in relation to the APPA is how annoying
it stands for.
American Paintball Players Association.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. It stands for anarchy. Anarchy in the UK. But
I'm sorry.
I wish it was more of an app-based system where it was easier to utilize on a mobile device, and it's easier to navigate, especially like for someone that goes to as many tournaments as I do, and I have to be at the Houston Heat Pit, I have to be at my X-Ball games, I have to be at my 10-man games, I have to follow all of my players that are playing 10-man to see who's making it on a Sunday and who's not. And I have to sit there for 5 minutes signing on and clicking through this thing. It could definitely be a lot better, but so could a lot of other things in the world and paintball. And that's the one good thing I think about the people in charge of the NXL, the powers that be, right? It seems that they're really striving for improvement. With everything they do. One might think otherwise because we have the same exact events, back to back, literally no change in the schedule, no change in the venues, nothing. But there is that old adage: if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Right. And 2017 was probably one of the most successful years a national circuit has had in a really long time. So yeah, that's true. If you look at it, we are at the same places. I mean, the grass wasn't as green in Vegas. I guess Rab got pretty mad that everybody was complaining about the grass. Like, him and Sloviak did some kind of Facebook Live thing, and I guess he was telling everybody that stop complaining about the grass not being green. I thought it was fine.
I thought, well, it was fine once a million people started sliding on it and then softening it up. I was like, all right, I'm good. It was a little spider leggy for me. I mean,
what was a cool thing about Vegas is that it rained that one day, and it got rid of all that that dust that's known to be in the West Coast. Whenever you play paintball on the West Coast, dude, especially Camp Pendleton, oh my god, your nose is so clogged afterwards from all that dust. So it was nice that it rained. Dude, Vegas was great. I thought it was a great event. It was nice to see everyone out there. The competition was great. The field layout looked like it played nicely, and it looked like a lot of fun. We saw a lot of cool. Yeah, exactly. The rain, you're from Ohio, I'm from Jersey. That was nothing. That was a mist.
Oh yeah,
dude. I don't know if you guys got hit by it, but we got 11 inches of snow on Tuesday before Vegas.
Yeah, you were telling me.
My flight got delayed for like a day.
See, winter's never over when you're on the East Coast or in the Midwest. It's always you could have. See, that's the thing. That's what people on the who don't live on these areas, these regions, won't appreciate. Is you could have all 4 seasons in 1 week.
Yeah. Today I was wearing a t-shirt like when I went outside, and I'm gonna go outside later, and I'm gonna have to wear like a jacket. And yesterday it was raining, and earlier in the week it was freezing cold. It was like it's in the 30s. So that's spring for you on the East Coast. Thank God it's like starting to warm up, and we're able to play outside again. Or at all for my case.
Right. So what is your status? What is your label on the are you head pit crew of Houston Heat?
I am the chief pod inspector. Yeah. That's
the chief pod swabber.
Yeah, I make sure all the pods are up to par. We don't want any of those like, Empire pods, the ones with like the 4 tabs. We don't want any of those.
Oh yeah.
We don't want any like weird pods. We just want the normal Vulcan or GX Global, the GXG pods. Dude, Fat Boys are the best pods ever made, hands down, bar none. I use them all the time when I go to Europe because they have someone over in Europe has like a supply of them, and I want to get a hold of a box of brand. Apparently, there's like brand new Fat Boys running around in Europe.
I wouldn't doubt it. Are they from Europe?
Yeah, they originally they were owned by Angel.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, they were. I don't know all this shit.
Dude, Angel used to be like the shit. I remember like through phases and everything in paintball. Like I remember when I was coming in, like Angel was like the marker. It was like the thing.
Angel, whatever anyone wants to say about their guns, which were awesome at the time, even the A1,
they were revolutionary.
Dude, that company, if you remember, was probably the only company that made paintball players into rock stars. Like really, like really treated them like rock stars. If you remember Avalanche, back then, those guys were rock stars, and they shot Angels, and they really kind of blended and brought over this like extreme sport type of attitude from the X Games of the time. That kind of more that clean cut but edgy type of look. Yeah. Whereas Contract Killer, if you remember, was kind of that like really edgy kind of rock star lifestyle. So it was like basically I would say between Angel and Contract Killer were the 2 companies that really did that. And everyone tried to do it, but no one ever did it successfully. If you remember, Warp Sports back in the day was like making skate shoes, like.
Yeah, but he was more like one-offy. Like Ed was doing a lot of like, okay, here's the impulse, let's make it our own. Here is this, let's make it our own kind of a thing. It wasn't necessarily like revolutionary product. You know what I mean? It was just kind of these upped markers or whatever whatever they were.
I'm talking more not necessarily the product itself, but like the marketing behind the products, right? And marketing behind the players that they sponsored.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I'd say more Angel and Contract Killer than anything.
The Contract Killer sponsored that Dirter video where they flew out all the Contract Killer guys
to Hawaii.
That's where you got the T-hump, aloha. Aloha. But like Contract Killer was so legit in that regard. They brought like cool patterns to paintball, like plaid. Yeah. Like they try to like make these cool looking products with like edgy slogans, and that were actually like not lame. Like not like balls on your face, bro. Like
they had cool graphics. I remember for my 2006 excessive SL64. I want to say.
You had the grips.
I had the grips. I thought
remember those like fake wooden ones were so dope.
Well, I had the single panel. I'm pretty sure the single panel. The single panel rubber grips are the ones I had. I thought they were awesome. I
had those on like a couple of my Eagle 5s and Eagle 6s. I had those on my old Lasoya Intimidator. Speaking of Lasoya, saw him at Vegas. Yeah. He looks great. He's
sleeved
positive
up.
As always.
Yeah.
And that kind of brings me to my next subject is if there were to be a Paintball Hall of Fame for 2018, who would be the 5 inductees into the Paintball Hall of Fame? Lasoya would definitely be one for sure.
Yeah, I would have to say Lasoya. You'd have to say Oliver.
Is he officially retired? Because then I would say Oliver. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, like
I don't know. I mean, he'll come back when he's like 60. He'll come back and he'll start playing again. But I mean, I'm trying to think of people. Let's say he is. All right. Let's say he is retired. He's one of those guys who changed not only paintball itself, but style of a lot of people. You know,
Yeah.
Their whole the fashion sense of paintball kind of.
he claims, and I think a lot of people do as well, to be the first player to ever receive a contract, like a financial contract.
Yeah.
I don't find that hard to believe, but I'm sure someone had one too. But you never know. You know,
But it was
paintball's
so
still
closed
in that
doors.
weird. Yeah, paintball's still in that weird infancy stage where we're kind of like what baseball was when Babe Ruth was playing. If you remember back then, there was still plenty of players that had real jobs. You know, they weren't
Right.
paid professionals.
But see, I feel like we've been saying that for years now. And I feel like that's what has been our excuse on why everybody who's involved with the sport is keeping it the way it is, and it hasn't grown and nothing has come from it. I feel like we've been saying this forever and ever and ever. Well, paintball's still, new. Paintball's still this. Paintball's still that. Dude, paintball is fucking growing with each and every year. Paintball is changing. And what's not changing is people from the outside seeing the sport for what it really is. We're seeing the sport for what it really is, and we're seeing the changes because we're involved in it. We're in the middle of this fucking atom that you call paintball, and everything is just, everything's changing and rolling around, but we're in this bubble that we're not letting anybody else have a part of, or let them even maybe take a part of. And I think that... And whenever I hear that, I'm like, fuck, man. Like, I feel like that's been said so many years over and over and over again. And it might be. But I feel like with technology and where paintball is right now, I feel like this is a better time than ever to get paintball in the public eye without a huge production, without... I mean, fuck. Dude, look at Facebook, man. When I was talking to Bart about this. The Facebook feed... When they did it for Friday, had hundreds of thousands of views, and I believe at any given time, I think it was 10K live views at any given moment.
That's exactly what I was just gonna say. Proof in the pudding. The webcast needs to be fucking free, and I pay for it. I've been paying for it since 2015. Every month, my $8 gets taken out of my PayPal. I pay for that shit, and I don't even watch it anymore. Why? Why don't I watch it anymore? Because I have to go to some website and log in and go watch it. Mm-hmm. You need to put paintball in front of people and show them what it is. And the only way to do that is a free live stream on YouTube or Facebook or both, whatever it is. And yes, it's going to cost money. But that's what it is. You can cut down the budget a little bit and still provide a free webcast. I don't know what the numbers are. I don't. But that's what the answer is. And people will say, no, you can't have it free anymore because of the money, right? Well, then you're not going to have as many views as you're going to have on Facebook. You know what I mean?
The reason you're paying for the webcast and the reason paintball players themselves are paying for the webcast is because we're involved in the sport. And that's why we're paying for the podcast or the webcast. But the thing is that the people who don't know about it, they don't know about it and they're not going to pay for it. So you can't give them, you can't think that on Friday they're going to see it and be intrigued so much by it that they're going to go find this website that they might not even have seen during the live feed and make a user login and go, okay, I'll pay $8 just to see
At the very least, it should be inverted, right? So instead of giving free paintball on Friday, which is meaningless games, people are playing paintball for the first time in 4 months or whatever, you have the free webcast streamed live on YouTube or Facebook, or YouTube just to have it on YouTube, and then direct link on Facebook to go watch it. Mm-hmm. And it's Sunday. Sunday's free. The pinnacle of that tournament is free, right? And broadcasts are free. And if you want to get into that nitty gritty of like watching tape and watching how Boom plays because they didn't make Sunday, or watching how, because you're going to play them the next tournament or whatever, or maybe you want to get more and more angles on different teams and how they play that because you're a local team, you're about to play the layout the following week, whatever it may be, right? You have to be a paid subscriber to get that content, right?
Or you sack the fuck up and do what other people did, and they stayed around and they stuck at the field and they scouted teams the old-fashioned way instead of relying on this thing.
Well, I mean, that's a skill that got lost, or that's a thing that got lost when you release a layout early, right?
Yeah.
Period. And the only way that people are going to stick around anymore at the tournament to watch games is if the layout is unreleased until the tournament.
Which I'm an advocate for.
I'm an advocate of it too. I mean, that's one reason I like 10-man so much is because I get to play some weird ass field for the first time.
Learning as you go.
And learning as I go. And I got shot to shit the one move I made because it sucked, and I learned from it. And you go to Iron City Classic. Well, shit, the reason why Bad Company did so well and the reason why Philly Americans did so well at Iron City Classic is because they walked the field all day on whatever it was, Thursday or Friday, all day. I got shot off the break in the face against Bad Company over the Mounds field. I go to Rainey afterwards. I'm like, how did you guys shoot 5 of us off the break? He's like, dude, we walked the field for 6 hours on yesterday,
Which sounds ridiculous now, because it's so taboo now.
But that's what
it was.
Paintball was. Yeah, for sure. And that's a skill, an art. It was an art that got lost.
Like a requirement.
It was a requirement, but it was an art form, right? To walk the field.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Dude, you watch Push, right? Which is arguably one of the best paintball movies ever made. You watch Push, and I was watching it the other day with some kid who's never seen it. Not the other day, but like a couple weeks ago. And he's like, "What is that guy doing, curled up next to that tree?" And I'm like, he's walking a fucking woods ball field. That's what he's doing. You know what I mean? The dude was curled up on the side of a tree, seeing how tight he can get if he ever got to that spot. Yeah. And he had, that's the kind of stuff that was an art form to break down a field like that, especially in the woods. I mean, come on.
Oh yeah, I can't even fathom walking
Well, this year for Iron City Classic, I was the 35th team to sign up and pay, and registration's closed, and their first deadline for registration is July. That shit sold out in freaking March with 36 teams, double the amount of teams from last year. So there was 18 teams last year. There's 36. Anyway, I'm making a point to go out there a day early just so I could walk the fields again. Just to get that refresher. Because I want to be competitive.
That's what needs to happen, man. And things like that people might take as time consuming or whatever. I feel like those are paintball essentials. This is what paintball is, man. It's learning your environment, it's learning your surroundings, not 2 weeks before. It's learning the day of, because you're showing up. And before we get into that, like the one major argument is if we're not going to have the field until the event, who's to say that other teams won't?
Yeah.
And that's my biggest issue, because there are teams out there that are helping build the NXL layouts that know what the layouts are.
Yeah.
And there's nothing we can do about it. I'm not pointing fingers, I'm not going to say names, but I'm saying it is out there, and it was told to me. So it is happening. So the only thing that I would love for it to happen, for the fields to wait until the events, but there is no guarantee unless there was an NXL official at every single practice, every weekend, saying, okay, they're not playing the layout.
That's not realistic.
But it's not realistic. I mean, that's the thing. So going back,
well, if you remember the last PSP tournament ever, Dallas 2015.
Oh, I remember it.
Yeah, I know. I know. We all remember it.
Very brown.
Very brown and stinky and gross. Mm-hmm. And it's unfortunate that was the last tournament ever, because there's 2 really important rule changes that I was really, really looking forward to see their implementation that year. The one was true semi, which I thought was stupid.
Dumb.
Not
the true second, semi.
Yeah, it's not
sorry,
true semi.
I hated it so much.
Fake true semi. Yeah, it's stupid.
Fake semi.
Yeah. Electronic guns. If you want fucking semi, make everyone shoot mechanical guns.
No, dude, I have The perfect solution. I talked about it with Bart. The perfect solution and the whole reason why fucking
The final
kids,
solution?
the final solution on why kids are the way they are today too is because shit is given to them. So here's the thing. They don't have to work for anything. The only thing they have to work for is to get more paint on their back and to be able to shoot a lane with one finger, shooting at this and this. Oh, I can control so much because I'm ramping and I'm shooting with one finger and I'm just an anchor in the corner. No, you're a robot in the corner, and the gun is doing all the work. But if you switch it around and you cap it at 15, and you make all these boards semi-auto, then you actually have to do the work to hold the lane instead of just doing it with one finger. Now it's twice as fucking hard, and you actually have to learn how to control your gun.
Well, you and I both know, you and I both know with semi-automatic, right, on an electronic gun, it's not really a semi. If you weren't setting up your trigger somehow to get bounce back in that day.
Okay, so explain bounce to me, because there is no way that and how they at least in 7-man on how they testing bounce, they were flicking the trigger like this and holding it, and they were just like, oh see it shot twice, and you're like, you're holding it with the reg, and you're not even have the tank on your shoulder, and you're flicking the trigger. Like if I get up there,
especially if you had a Bob Long gun.
Yeah, dude,
you were screwed.
Yeah, people. Well, that's the thing. But
if you had an Eclipse gun, you were safe.
Yeah, because to me, it was literally one shot, one pull for me. I just set it up and practiced it enough to where I, in reality, shot, over 15, 20 balls a second, like realistically, because I trained myself to do that. I didn't want to cheat. That wasn't my thing. That's not how I wanted to win tournaments and be a paintball player.
Well, I think I hate to go to that subject because it's like beating a dead horse, right? I'm looking forward to buying that mechanical shocker for ICC and utilizing it, and it's always fun to go out there for the Woods Ball games and play with an autococker for one game until it breaks, and then you don't use it again. You can switch back to your Lux or whatever you shoot. Yeah. But autococker is like a hot rod. It's like kind of fun to shoot, but not really.
You don't want to get it dirty. I wouldn't want to get it dirty.
Dude, yeah. Autocockers are just cool to look at and hold, and that's where it ends.
Dude, they're wall decor.
Wall decor, correct. But like that whole subject's been beaten to death. The change that I wanted to see really bad happen was when they released the pro layout the Thursday before the event at PSP Dallas, and that layout was going to be the divisional layout for the event afterwards.
The following
event. So I thought it was a great idea because you get the top echelon players having to figure a layout out, within a day. And some teams have the advantage of playing all day that Thursday, which happened with some teams. And some teams, like I remember Aftershock at the time, I had an hour practice and Bruno was like losing his shit. That was
typical.
Yeah. And he played like for 3 or 4 hours that day. And, the Ironman played a bunch. Impact played a shit ton, but you only had one day to prepare. You know what I mean? So and you're only limited to playing at a couple different fields in the Dallas area, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like you can sit there and realistically play all day. It's going to be difficult in any regard. The divisional teams would have had a month and 6 weeks to play whenever they felt like it. They could play every week or they could play every other week. They don't have to just smash it into the grind of the 3 weeks of the tournament, right?
And you're just playing paintball. Like you're nothing specific. You're just playing paintball, doing your due diligence, and you
guys do a case practice every week instead of like the free case practice where it just blows up your bank account. You just do a case of practice every week and have fun playing paintball on a field. Yeah. I was really looking forward to that, and I was really bummed that didn't get kind of brought over or tried again with the NXL.
Yeah.
But I guess the point being is like how the growth of the sport and the amount of teams making paint was the original kind of topic. I'll talk about paintball growing when you actually see an outside sponsor come in and legitimately sponsor the league itself.
That's my thing too.
That's it. And I think a lot of people would agree with me. If you had 100 150,000 viewers on a fucking Facebook Live feed of the tournament. Someone is going to give you money to sponsor that shit because 150,000 people are seeing
anything.
Finlay hats sponsoring this fucking match, or Kill Cliff. Remember that energy drink that sponsored the league in 2015, or Balls energy drink, or whatever it may be. Some tiny little company that wants to get into that grassroots internet movement.
Yep.
Like which everyone is doing now. You're going to sponsor a live feed that 150,000 people are watching.
Yeah. I mean, it's ad revenue. It's ad space. I mean, that's what you're looking for. And it's not going to be...
Why do you think Joe Rogan makes a killing off of his podcast? That's his job. Because 1 million people listen to every one of his episodes, and he gets paid by, what companies are sponsoring him? Not like Allstate, not Nike. Like a couple little small niche companies are sponsoring his shit. Uber, Lyft, like cyber companies.
Yeah.
And he generates a shit ton of ad revenue from just his podcast.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah.
Joey Diaz has a bidet sponsoring his fucking podcast.
I'm aspiring to that. I'm hoping to get one.
I got my first couple paid sponsorships last year, and then this year it came in a lot more, and it definitely helps. You and I both know, like, if you want to take this podcast thing seriously and make it like a legitimate thing, one, the thing is consistency, right? So if you're not planning on putting out at least one podcast a month, if not every week or every 2 weeks, then you don't really have a podcast, right? Like people want the content and people want it free, but it costs money. It's $15 a month for a SoundCloud Pro account, which is what you need, Yep. And then it's, I pay $10 a month for my Photoshop to like do random stuff that I need to like make little social media things. Yeah. And that's $25 a month. And then all my gear, whatever that costs, $500 for my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then like shit to like just go to the tournaments. Like I consider me going to a tournament like podcast time,
Yeah.
So it's nice to have people supporting me. A couple of new sponsors came on board and are helping out the show.
Who are they? Tell me.
MacDev.
Sweet.
Carbon.
Ooh, nice.
Carbon was the first one. Fox 4 Paintball, Dave Painter has stepped up. And then Finlay Hats is stepping up too. And they're, granted, they're like a lot of the Carbon sent me gear, and so is Finlay, and so is MacDev.
Mm-hmm.
But I consider that like essentially revenue. I basically proposed that to them. Like, I'll trade you. Who doesn't need a new pack? Who doesn't need a new pad? That Carbon, the only thing I told the guys at Carbon about the pack that I got the CC pack, is that it only holds 9 pods. And Walker told me that the new one has like extra loops.
Hidden loops, yeah.
No, it was a nice pack, man. It was
those are real nice.
I love the underpants the most. I don't really like the top as much as the bottoms. The bottoms are nice for sure.
Yeah, I rock both, man. I first started wearing it, I think a year ago or so, and that's all I wear now, both top and bottom. But
yeah, it was really strange wearing that top and then a 2XL Raza jersey over it, like this giant bag.
Yeah,
it's the TM2, which is the best paintball jersey ever made. The Raza TM2.
Ooh.
And I don't even work for Raza anymore.
See, well, I would say that Sunday Drivers is better than Push.
Sunday Drivers was a very, very, very good one.
I put Sunday Drivers above Push.
I put Serial Killers above both of them.
See, I'm Sunday Drivers, Serial Killers, Push. I'm not a big fan of Push. I was a bigger fan of Sunday Drivers and Serial Killers.
Remember 300 feet per second too?
Oh yeah.
I just recently watched a 2004 World Cup 720 films video, and it had Russian Legion versus Avalanche. It had Infamous versus who are they playing?
What year was this?
2004. So real X-ball.
Yeah.
Like you get your shit pushed in X ball. Like
Yeah, that was interesting.
not a 3-ball overshot, dude. Like
No, it was on purpose.
real overshooting.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy, dude. Like seeing Mishka, seeing Fedorov, like babies.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing guys like Rusty Glaze, Gator Glaze. Like, remember Gator? Like,
Oh yeah. Yeah, Losoya was still playing at the time.
Losoya
John
was still
Richardson.
top of his game. John Richardson was a killer.
Mm-hmm.
Like I thought John Richardson was that unsung hero from back then. He was probably the top 10 player from that era for sure. Just a silent killer, murdering motherfucker. Like, and he was a big dude. I don't know if you remember. He was like a jack dude.
Yeah. You know who my number? Yeah. I was with John Excessive.
Yeah.
Excessive days. But do you know who my number one is?
Your number one favorite player?
Yeah.
Of all time?
Of all time.
Of all time.
Inspired me probably more than Oliver, and why I try to kind of not copy playing style, but as far as just being a killer. Like he was the it.
I'm gonna guess Rocky Cagnoti, but I know that's wrong.
Angel Fragoza.
Angel, damn, dude.
Another snake player. Yeah,
I would say that he was probably the best 7-man snake player ever to play.
Yeah, he was hands down. Like I remember watching him.
You said that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, and I don't think a lot of people. I think he was ahead of the game. He was the one who was playing paintball of today back then. I feel, and
yeah, because it was weird because Angel wasn't really that cannonball snake guy. He was fast. He was athletic. He could get down the snake quick if you needed him to.
Yeah.
But he was like the most tactical guy at the time, who excelled at both formats. If you remember, he real tactical 7-man style paintball during X-Ball, which is strange.
Yeah.
And during that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't personally have a favorite teams, but I don't have a favorite player. I would say that like really inspired my game.
Yeah, I mean, you can say me if you want.
Yeah, sure. Those Avalanche jerseys, that one up there, that was like such a dope era of Avalanche, because I was a huge Avalanche fan back in 05 when they wore JT masks, Angel pants, Angel jerseys, shot Angels.
Yeah.
And the only guy I can name on that team was Cowboy Roy. That's the only
Cowboy, yeah.
Yeah, that's the only guy I can name on that team. But there's just like aesthetics enjoyed. The soft gear was really, really cool looking. And I that, and it really inspired a lot of style for me.
Yeah.
Like those guys. But yeah,
shout out to Adam Geist, by the way.
He designed those?
Shout out to Geezer. No, this is his jersey. I had all the guys sign it that were on the team. I think I traded him jerseys or something. And
is that a Thomas Taylor headband? Monkey with a gun headband?
Thomas Taylor headband.
Is that his? Was that his one?
No.
Remember he had the one that was for him? Look at that.
You know what that says?
No.
This is mine, bro.
Did you get a signature?
I had one. Yeah, this was mine. I
didn't remember.
Yeah, I had a signature series.
Did you?
Yeah, the green one.
I know. Oh, it looked yellow. That yellow was Thomas's, I think.
Yeah, no, this was
green. Look at that. Damn. You used to be someone really popular, weren't you?
I used to be popular back in the day. Yeah.
People used to like you, Carl.
Now they just know me from the podcast.
The Prodcast.
The Prodcast.
Formerly the fastest player in the league.
Formerly. You know what? I have no...
Now just gets shot off the break all the time.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm good. I'm not even mad if I'm not the fastest, or if I am. I'm not. It's not. To me, that's not my end game. So it's like, when everybody's like, "Oh, you think you can beat Goldman?" It's like, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It's like we're not in a race to see like, well, it'd be fun to see who's like. No, it won't be fun because you know what's gonna happen is I'm gonna race him, and we're gonna race, and then I'm gonna pull a hammy, and I'm gonna be out for the rest of my life.
Yeah, because you're old and frail,
because
like me.
I'm a 32-year-old young man.
Yeah, and your knees are probably shot to shit because of paintball.
And now they're getting twisted up in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, and you're probably gonna dislocate. Knock on wood, dude. I'm knocking on wood for you. You're probably gonna dislocate your shoulder.
It's already there. Can you see that?
Have you dislocated it before? Oh, look at that. Jesus.
Yeah.
Dude, mine. I joined the club over the summer, and mine like still snapples, cracks, and pops like freaking Rice Krispies.
Oh yeah, because you fucked. See, mine's not a dislocation. Mine's actually I think it's called an ACL ligament. Is what holds your collarbone down to your shoulder, and that ligament had a partial tear, and it was during actually a co-ed football game, and flag football game, and I fucking landed on it, and I heard a crunch. I was like, oh, that can't be good. And I was out. Why? I thought I broke my collarbone at first. But it was just...
I'm almost positive this one got initially injured snowboarding because I ride really fast, as fast as I can humanly do it. Not as fast as like the Olympic guys, but as fast as I can ride. And I just hit an edge randomly one time and just went full speed shoulder roll. And because I grew up wrestling. Well, I wrestled for 2 years, but because I wrestled in my youth, in my high school youth, I knew how to roll. So I kind of
you know how to fall.
I know how to fall very well. And I just heard like this crunch, and I yard sailed, and my goggles went that way, and my glove went that way, and that was fun.
I know all about that, man. I was snowboarding there for a while when I was living in Minnesota. I lived in Minnesota for 3 years, and I snowboarded probably every single chance that I got. I was snowboarding. What's up?
Is there a mountain, quote unquote, Troll Garden? Is that Minnesota?
Oh, I don't know.
Troll House?
It doesn't sound familiar. I was living in Mankato, and I know we had like Mount Cato or something, but it had snow on it. But I would be on there all the time, and I would fuck myself up all the time because I'm just one of those people where if I try anything, I'm gonna try my best at it. You know what I mean? And just try and do all this shit that I don't know how to do yet. And there was a point where I was just like, oh fuck, I'm gonna fuck myself up way too bad. And there's one where I was like cutting back, and I caught an edge on my backside, and it just slingshot me into the ground. Yeah. And I smacked myself senseless, and I was like, oh my, all right.
I'm almost positive I suffered a concussion snowboarding. I cracked a helmet doing a heel side butter full speed, and just went full speed to the back of my helmet. I'm pretty sure I suffered a concussion. But you can suffer a concussion just like hitting your head on a cupboard.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure my son has had like 50 concussions already.
He's fine. He looks like a little meatball.
Yeah, he's got a lot of cushion to him.
Yeah,
he's doing good.
That's got to be a tough thing, man, for you. Like, going. I know it's a tough thing for me, and I just have a dog. But like,
yeah,
going to just the 5 NXL tournaments a year and with the kid,
I wish I could afford to bring them. I wish I was actually a paid athlete where I could bring them to each and every event. But sadly, I'm old
and fragile.
I'm washed up.
You're not washed up.
I'm washed up.
Dude, you're one of the better players on Aftershocks, all right? And on top of that, with all paintball, I feel like once you hit like that 28 mark and you've been playing pro for a while, like all those guys just get better and better, I feel like, every year. I mean, dude, look at not only yourself, but like Ryan Greenspan, fucking Yosh, Brandon Short was killing it at Vegas. Like, what? Like that dude, you're retiring? Like, you were the best player on Dynasty at Vegas. You know what I mean? And
yeah. And then you,
You're like,
well, how
Brian
many
Moorhead.
how many dad pro paintball players are there?
More and more every year,
More
especially
and more every year.
our age. You know, like I just started dating this girl about 3 months ago, and she's the same exact age as me. Like literally, we share the same birthday, 10,
having
15.
a baby?
No, thank God, no. But we had the talk recently, and
Yeah?
she's like, biological clock is ticking, and I'm
Right.
just like, dude, I'm just trying to play paintball, you know.
That's
But
like death words to.
we had, yeah. Well, I was smart about it, you know. Like, but we had the talk, and like, how many friends of yours that play paintball have had kids and had to quit as a result of it? You know, like a lot of them, a lot of guys, you know. And that's still why like the main demographic of paintball is like males between the age of like 18 and 24, you know. Like that's kind of the main demographic, because you're still a shithead kid, you don't really have a lot of responsibilities, you want to like live this like extravagant lifestyle, traveling all over the world to go play this stupid game that we play, and hopefully more than likely you don't have a kid because you're probably still in college, you know. Maxing out credit cards. I mean, I've been there. That's what I did. I maxed out like 2 credit cards in college playing 7-man for 2 years, you know.
Just fake money.
It was
fake money with real consequences.
I paid it back eventually, you know. but you know, my credit score was tarnished as a result. I'd like to know the average credit score of paintball players in the league. It's probably somewhere in the 500s.
I have a 759 credit score, but that's rounding up to the nearest hundredth.
I'm the same. Yeah.
But you know what? I'm living life, man.
It's crazy. Like I paid off like all my debt this winter, and then as soon as paintball season starts, lo and behold, my credit cards like go skyrocketing back up. Like I just paid for our entry for ICC on my credit card.
Oh, you're that guy. You're that guy on the team.
I'm that guy. Winston's is my team, man. Like that's shit, you know. We are the flagship 10-man team currently.
Winsteins.
The Winstein. Well, we might have a Wichita Winston soon because I have so many freaking people on my team. The Wichita Winstons. There's Washington and Wichita, and then there's the Winsteins, which is our Jewish sector. I have plenty of Jews to fill that team up, so we're good there.
You know what you should change the name to?
What?
The Everywhere Everybody's.
Yeah, it's literally our team. Yeah.
Everybody's from everywhere, and everybody's on.
We're international, dude. We have dudes from Finland playing with us. We have dudes from Sweden playing with us.
The international locals.
They said I'm going to all the Millennium events this year. That's the plan, at least. I'm going to Paris in 2 weeks. And the first question I got asked from one of my buddies over there, Neil, is, "Are you putting a Winston's team in for 10-man at Paris or France?" And I'm like, man, I'd love to, but I just want to go be a player.
Yeah.
Like I want to go there and just play paintball and leave and go to the Eiffel Tower. Or no, I want to go to that. There's that cathedral in Schacht that is apparently like world renowned, one of the best still existing cathedrals.
Ooh, never been.
You've never been over to Europe, right?
Never been to Europe.
Missing
so if
out,
anybody wants to take me to Europe, I still don't know if I can go because I can't get off work.
Well, we're taking Mike Kerr.
Ooh, nice.
Mike Kerr's on our team.
Oh, to be young again without kids or a job.
So he was talking around to like, I guess, some of the after sharks and the small sharks, the shark 2s and the shark 3s, and talking about like Brian McKenna coming in with us, but I don't think he's in for this event. I think he might try to come for the Paris event though.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, our team's weird. We have a guy from England. We have me from Jersey, a guy from Delaware, 2 guys from Florida, and then Mike Kerr, and then a dude from Kansas, like Steven Mazurek. Like we have dudes that are everywhere. You know what I mean?
That's all it takes.
California dudes, everything like that.
Well, man, I hear the little one upstairs. I gotta get going. I gotta help out. I know.
The little baby one.
Dude, dad life. You'll know.
Yeah,
you'll know soon enough.
No, Courtney, don't suck me in.
But dude, thank you so much. I appreciate the sit down and the conversation. Yeah, I kind of like this too because it's we don't always have to talk about paintball stuff all the time. I mean, obviously this is a paintball related podcast, but sometimes to hear a little bit of different insight on just life in general is always a refresher. So
yeah, I could talk to you for another at least hour about whatever the hell we want to talk about.
Dude,
but
3 hours.
Have the Paintball Podcast to do that on too.
Yes, and you know that I'm always down to. And by the way, everybody, if you didn't just get what that was, that's this is Mike's podcast, the Paintball Podcast. Make sure you check it out everywhere where you can listen to it on the podcast platform.
Yeah,
the Paintball
iTunes,
Podcast.
SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google Play Music,
Tinder
for sure. That's where I met my girlfriend on Bumble. Actually,
see,
it works. Seriously, she's a great girl. Great. Her name's Courtney, and she's awesome.
Swipe left.
I swiped right hard on that one.
Hard right.
Super swipe. But yeah, Paintball Podcast is fun.
Keep doing what you're doing, man.
I like your podcast. I listen to like a whole bunch of them. That's what gets me through my days. Just fills me with knowledge. And
thank you, man.
Yeah, we should definitely try to record one in Dallas for sure.
Absolutely, I'm always down. I love the face-to-face ones.
Yeah, are you an Indians fan? Out of curiosity.
I like baseball.
Who's your team?
Baseball
team.
I don't really follow anybody. I can watch baseball, but I'm not really a fan of the teams. I mean, obviously you like the NYs.
Opening day, baby. Today the Mets won 9-4 against the St. Louis Cardinals. We're gonna be the shit. Come at me. The Mets are going to the. I'm gonna say the NLCS this year. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say that. That's it.
Okay.
We'll
end with that. We'll end with that. We'll see what happens.
Love yourself. Love the people around you. Love paintball, right?
Exactly.
Oh, wait, it's not my show.
More than anything, please don't text and drive.
Don't text and drive.
Yeah, we're the reason why the road is unsafe, and I mean human beings. If we all just pay attention just a little bit more, this is why podcasts are, and I'm gonna say this again at the end of the podcast for the ads, but this is why podcasts are so important for me, because I used to be a text and driver, and I am not now
the podcast listener.
Because I listen to podcasts, and that it occupies my ears so my eyes can watch the road. So
no, the problem is I text you when I hear something on your podcast while I'm driving. Like,
use the microphone. Use the microphone if you're gonna do it. Use the microphone, right. But please don't text and drive. I love you all, and Mike, I love you, buddy. You know, you are, essentially one of the major reasons why this is around. So thank you, sir.
Thank you for keep doing what you're doing. I like listening to your shit. I'm still behind on mine. I just finished Halloween Chorizo, so I still got a lot to catch up on. Yes, I'm looking forward to it.
Listen to the one that I'm going to upload with Gutenberg Pereira.
I definitely will, for sure.
It's a cool story. It's a cool story.
I'm about to do one probably Saturday with a yoga instructor from Princeton.
Yes.
Who's only played paintball like 2 times, but that doesn't matter. What I want to talk about is what we talked about in the beginning of this episode, is the relationship of other martial arts and paintball kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yoga, in my opinion, is a martial art, but in any case, yeah. So thanks a lot for having me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
It's weird being a guest. When do we end?
We can end whenever. We can end right now. Ready? This will be the end.
Right about.
Peace.
Now. Bye.
Mike Zap, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, Mike, for sitting down and talking with me. Always have a great time. Always a great conversation. We have plenty of conversations, but I can't wait to swing over to your podcast and have another one. I mean, it's always cool to be able to hear his side of things, especially he's behind the scenes over at Houston Heat, along with the Virtue stuff. So he always has the inside info So it's good to talk to him. But another quick thank you to our sponsors before we take off. Thank you to Charm City. Like I said, you can find him on Instagram and Facebook, and he has all kinds of patterns and designs up there, and he'll even do custom stuff. So make sure you give Mike a shout or at Charm City Paintball. Another big thank you goes to ckfightlife.com. They have all kinds of paintball gear, but they also do some sweet laser engraving. Like I said before, if you want any more information about this, make sure you call Tony 951-219-5045. It sounds like I'm leaving a voicemail. but give Tony a call and ask him a few questions and tell him Carl from the Playing On Podcast sent you. And remember, they also have jiu-jitsu gear, and I am a big fan of jiu-jitsu. I think it helps not only in the sporting world, but also in life in general, and I think it's it's making me a better paintball player, to be honest. I'm honing in on myself. I'm not going to talk about jiu-jitsu anymore on here, but at least right now. But thank you also to Planet Eclipse, who make the most amazing markers on the planet, and who have, I think, the best reputation in the sport. As far as team and company relationships, and as well as individual player relationships. I mean, I don't think I've talked to one person who said that they had a bad taste in their mouth from Planet Eclipse. I mean, all those guys are amazing. So thank you to Planet Eclipse and all the sponsors of the podcast for supporting this whole crazy thing. And thank you to you guys out there for listening. Very much appreciated. And if you want to get a hold of me, Carl_Markowski on Instagram or Carl Microwave Markowski on Facebook. I'm thinking about deleting my Facebook. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, I know having more ways to contact people is better, but man, I'm trying to really, really limit my social media and do a lot more creating than consuming. And who knows? Is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad? I mean, you don't know until you actually do it. So we'll see. I still have it up there, so it's not a big deal. But yeah. Anyway, also, please, everybody out there, do not text and drive. Pay attention when you're in your car, when you're driving on the road. You're in a speeding missile that you are in control of. We make the roads dangerous. Please pay attention when you're on the road. Get home safe. Safe travels, everybody. And we will see you again here soon on the Playing On Podcast. See ya.